Hi everybody, and welcome to this latest podcast recording for the Export to Japan platform. And today we're looking a little bit deeper into all the dynamics around the new CEPA free trade agreement that's recently been signed by the UK and Japan. And we're diving in a little bit further to look in particular at the food, drink and agriculture sector. And to help us with this discussion today, I'm delighted to welcome Phil Hadley, who is the International Marketing Director of the Agriculture and Horticulture Development Board, also known as AHDB. Hi, Phil. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Steve. Glad to be here.
Yeah, good to have you on board. So can I kick off, Phil, by just asking you to tell us all a little bit more about AHDB and why exports are so important to you and your members?
Okay, sure. So AHDB is a levy board for the primary agriculture sectors, and we support and represent the livestock sector, so beef, lamb and pork, and the dairy sector, also the cereals and oilseed sector, the potato sector and the horticulture sector, hence the rather large title. So we cover the broad primary agriculture sector, and we're interested in exports because, of course, you know, to a greater or lesser degree across those sectors, exports play a fundamental role in the viability of the sector and offer opportunities to sell high value products to those markets that demand them, or sell products that we don't necessarily eat at home into those markets where they're demanded and are valuable products.
Got it. Okay, great. And obviously you're working on a global basis in your role, but for this particular discussion, we obviously want to focus a bit more on Japan. So do you have any thoughts on what particular products or sectors we are currently exporting to Japan at the moment?
Yeah, well, Japan's a market of great interest to us, of course, and not all of the markets are relevant to all of the sectors. But Japan specifically, there's an opportunity for UK primary agriculture in malting barley, for example, cereal products for brewing, the brewing sector, alcohol industries, some opportunities for dairy products, and the bigger opportunities arguably are for the red meat sectors. So we've exported pork to Japan for a while, and we've recently in 2019 been granted access for both beef and for lamb. So 2020 saw our first full year of active export opportunities for that product, and it's going very well.
Good. That's good. That's good to hear. And what does the new sort of free trade agreement really mean for you and your members? You know, what's your view and your take on that?
Well, I mean, it's positive in as much that it offers a continuity, it offers a continuation, if you like, of the opportunity to access that market and enjoy the benefits that a trade agreement brings. So it's offered some security and confidence in the market, particularly important for us as we're new entrants on those meat products I touched on, that we actually have a way forward now, or a medium and longer term opportunity there to continue to export those products, subject to the prevailing rates, etc.
That's great. It's great to hear. What's your take on the sort of current status, you know, with the organizations or the companies you're working with? Have you got any views on what the current situation is with regard to exports to Japan at the moment?
Yeah, so let me take beef, for example. So we were granted access in 2019, and then we've gone through a process of finalising the certificate and getting particular meat processing sites approved. And in 2020, so from a zero position in 2019, we exported £5.5 million worth of beef to Japan. So that seems like a modest figure, and we expect year-on-year growth as we get more sites and build a stronger reputation and customer base. Interestingly, that market takes particular products and highly values those products. So it's taking particular cuts of that beef carcass. And it's a very demanding market, very high quality, well presented product. So we're able to meet those requirements, have a good reputation, and we'll build on that in the coming years and continue to grow that trade. So at the moment, it's proving important for a limited number of companies, but we see that growing over time as more companies enter that market.
That sounds good. It sounds really good. And then how about from the other side, from your experience, do you have any views on how the Japanese market may perceive UK suppliers, and any comment or any view on that for us?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's an interesting question. We've got a good representation and a good reputation within the Japanese market. I mean, obviously a very demanding customer base, high standards, integrity, quality, top of the agenda there. Of course, Japan imports an awful lot of agricultural goods from overseas, so they're very used to imported products being present in their domestic marketplace. And the work we've done and speaking to consumers and other representative organisations and trade, they see the UK as having a strong reputation, very positive things like quality and product integrity, particularly around foodstuffs, which is critical to the Japanese consumer. But they also value and recognise the broader UK reputation and things like our heritage and tradition of producing goods, food products and agricultural products, which again is a really strong message for us. And those are the types of things that we bring into our marketing work, really dialing up those positive factors for Japanese consumers, and really very much talking about the integrity of our supply chain, our strong regulation and enforcement, and role of government in within that, but also the fact that they're good quality products, well produced and sold with integrity.
It sounds really good. I mean, in summary, from what you're saying, it really sounds like this is a great opportunity time for UK companies and suppliers to be now really seriously considering the Japanese market. I mean, as you're sort of suggesting to us, we've got a huge market out there. I think it's something like 127 million people. I think it's the largest net importer of food and drink products anywhere in the world. And it's a country that has high priority on quality, and certainly health is a big issue now. So many of the things that the UK suppliers are well positioned to tap into. And of course, we've now got this new free trade agreement with all the benefits that you're alluding to. We've got the continuity, we've got some tariff benefits, we've got benefits around the rules of origin, and the geographical indicators as well is relevant to a lot of our food suppliers that have that particular geographic presence around their brand or their location. So it feels like it's a really, really good time for companies to be looking at the Japanese market. I mean, is that one of the reasons that you're sort of thinking of it as a little bit of a priority with your efforts and what you're looking at right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a long-term plan to seek greater access. We've had pork access for a number of years, as I said. We already send some limited amounts of dairy products to Japan, and growing that access and the beef approval, we're already trying to broaden that out further. More companies getting on board and having their premises approved specifically for export to Japan. But all those points you raise make this a very exciting market, very dynamic market, and the fact that you have a generally wealthy population that are very used to imported products as a large importer of primary agriculture goods works really well for us, so the timing is perfect as well. So, as I say, Japan, very exciting market for us. We've already had commercial missions out there. A number of commercial companies are visiting and striking up relationships with Japanese importers. We are a regular attendee at the FoodX event. Now, under the circumstances of the one that happened a few weeks ago, we didn't attend from the UK, but we joined representatives from the British Embassy there. But we are planning to have a presence at FoodX in March 2022, if the circumstances allow.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. We've really got to hope so that by that time we can get back on the aircraft and get out to these markets. So yeah, that's really good to know. And I did hear that FoodX show, despite the challenges around the situation with lack of travel and things, I think that did go quite well. And the number of UK companies that were out there did get some successes from that show. So that was really good news. Okay, and then finally, just in conclusion, I know your personal remit is a global one, so you're obviously looking at all markets yourself. But in terms of your organisation at AHDB, what is the structure? I think you've got a colleague, Jonathan Eckley, who we're hoping to catch up with and do a subsequent podcast and have a chat with Jonathan. But he's a little more focused on that geographic region, is he? And what's his sort of mandate that he's looking at?
Yeah, so Jonathan's role is the trade development role, so it's deliver our activity in that Asia Pacific region, and we've, as a result of the opportunities, we've recently appointed an agent in Japan to work on our behalf in country. So Jonathan oversees their work program and the delivery on the ground, and of course he's a frequent visitor to the market, so he's in a good position to be able to comment on the specific work that we're doing there to try and drive the opportunities forward for our stakeholders.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, we certainly look forward to catching up with Jonathan, and we can dive into a bit more detail on the initiatives that he's working on as well. So that would be good for us to do as the next step. Okay, that's really good. Look, Phil, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy man, so we appreciate you giving us some time today. And it's really good to sort of pick your brains and get your insight. And it's very clear from this discussion that this is a great time and a great opportunity for UK suppliers, particularly in this sector, to be looking at the Japanese market. And we obviously look forward to working with you and all the other stakeholders involved in this chain with DIT, etc., on doing all we can to make the most of this new opportunity presented by this trade agreement and getting more and more UK companies out there exporting. So I know you're playing a big role in that, and we're keen to help and support with that. So Phil, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure catching up with you. Thank you.
Okay, great. My pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.